Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. It's Evan, and this is the 997 Turbo. I know it's a lot different than last time we were here. Things get busy. I had a stretch of time where I could actually focus on this for about a week. So I went ahead and kind of moved forward with the project. So we were doing the GT3R kit on the car. I did a ton of measurements, a ton of different wheel setups, tire setups, suspension setups, and I couldn't figure out a way to be able to drive the car on the street and enjoy the car like I want to with that kit. It was going to be too low. I looked at, putting cups on the suspension, but you can't go above 30 miles per hour with the cups, so that's pointless. I'm not doing an air ride, kind of ruins the whole car in my eyes. Decided to take that kit, put it in storage for a little bit, try to come across a 997S or something like that, doesn't really matter, that's either got a blown engine or been wrecked. Put that kit on that car, and then we have a 4.0 engine in the storage as well that we can put in that car and make it a track car only. So for this one, what we decided to go with is going to do basically I don't want to say a replica or a tribute, but basically a GT2 RS. So we'll do the GT2 fenders, front bumper. I'm undecided. I like the GT3 RS front bumper better than the GT2 RS. So still trying to figure that out. GT2 RS wing. Everything else, we're doing the carbon roof still, the carbon hood still, the interior, which is already done. All that's still happening with it, but the outside of the body will be basically a GT2 RS style. The car now is stripped down all the way to where, as far as it's going to go, basically everything is out of the car. Inside, the front on this left is going to be, I left the fuel tank in the car. We'll just cover this up. And then took most of the lines out of the fender well. As you can see, Porsche kind of stops their paint when they paint cars. Kind of stop right here and kind of overshoot it through the fender where it's not really all the way painted. None of this is painted from factory. Some of this is painted, some of it's not from factory. Inside, the paint kind of starts fading away as you go up into here. Same on the back, you can see where the paint kind of fades up across on the side. Right through here is where they stop at. And what I found interesting was that the factory paints rubber grommets the same color as the interior, so I guess we'll do that as well. They also paint all the sound deadening the same color, so I guess I'll kind of stick with that theme as well. My goal with the car is to make it to where it looks like it was never repainted. It came from the factory this way. The cars are going next week to get blasted. Instead of me trying to sand all this, it's just going to get blasted, and then once it's done blasting, I'll go to the body shop and I will prep the car the way I want to be prepped, do all the taping that I want to be taped, shoot the car, and then hopefully it's back here within 2 weeks. The engine bay is pretty much cleaned out. There's a few things still left hanging out in here. The clip on the power steering pump line is broken inside for the reservoir. Not really that big of a deal. I'll just push off to the side. I want to make sure all this gets painted as well inside. So that's the basic gist of kind of body of the car. My next step is here in a few minutes after the video. I'm going to put on jack stands, and then I'm going to clean it throughout. Underneath the car, inside. I'm going to make it clean as possible, get all the dirt, grime. I know when they blast it, a lot of it will come off of this stuff, but I want the underside to be right as well. There's no need to really undercut the car because the cars, for one, have plastic panels all over the bottom side, so not much water gets up there anyways. But the Porsche undercoating is kind of not there anymore. It's not there. This doesn't have it. So I'm trying to keep it to where the paint, like factory does, it kind of blows up underneath the bottom side, and you'll see kind of a transition underneath there. But as far as the body and everything goes, that's it until it gets painted. I'll show you guys when we get the car rolled back in. The goal is to car done painting, bring it back here, and I'll go ahead and start putting back on the harness and all the stuff in the front, the radiators, the intercoolers, all that stuff will go back in, and then we'll start doing the interior and body work and all that stuff. This is the main harness for the car, and unlike a lot of other cars, I was kind of taken back because they use the same harness that's under the dash, that goes back into the car, then goes into the first firewall area, and then goes into the front, and then out to the brake pad sensors, the radiator, all that stuff is all one massive harness. I mean, even back to, that goes to the starter on the engine. And then it travels all the way up. There's your main fuse box. And then this is where it goes through one firewall, then goes to another firewall, and it comes all the way up, and this part right here actually goes to the ABS. Pretty in depth and really a lot more challenging to get out than I expected. I've worked on a lot of Porsche, a lot of 997s. Haven't gotten one that's quite torn down before, but this surprised me how difficult it was to try to get all of it out of there. These tables here is kind of organized chaos right now, but this is mainly interior parts. And then over here we have kind of main bits that was last taken off. I go on first with the radiators, all the AC lines, master cylinder, booster, ABS, yada yada yada. Coolant hoses, the ones that run on. I took these off mainly because they run up into the fender. I want to make sure to be able to paint through there. So these run to the front and the back, engine and transmission, of course. So for the engine, my kind of goal is I don't want to tear into the engine internally. I want to keep it as long as I can stock inside. So I'm looking to do probably pure 68mm turbos, probably alpha intercoolers, maybe injectors if need be. I'm not sure if it's needed yet. The car, we already had the IPD plenum, the IPD Y-pipe, intake, fast speed turbo manifolds, and a Cobb tune. So basically I think just doing turbos, and then of course a new exhaust because it's different than it was in the last setup. And then intercoolers, I think we might be able to get 650 around there, would be kind of the goal for that. And then, if we want more later on down the road, then maybe we can tear into the engine. Because the engine does have, I think the car has 55,000 miles on it. And it's been hard miles, it's been track miles, it's been beat the crap out of miles. The coolant pipe's already been pinned, we did that a long time ago. The cam shafts have not been pinned, so I'm a little concerned about that. But it's not that big of a deal to drop the engine out of these cars. So if that needs to happen again, then so be it. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. So some of the interior stuff that's already been done is took the stock turbo panels out of the Alcantara, like the GT3 RS, and then of course the yellow stitching across everything with new leather on top. And that theme kind of goes on throughout the whole entire car. Come over here. But we did like the center console lid, the pieces that go in the around the radio climate control areas. The e-brake handle is all stitched. The dash.
Yeah, that looks immaculate.
Yeah, the dash is stitched with new leather. The Alcantara and the Sport Chrono, and that's all stitched. All the A pillars, B pillars, everything's Alcantara. Lower dash, glove box, steering wheel cover, still Alcantara. Visors. I don't think this is the visors, and the rearview mirror is actually stitched as well. So that's the interior's pretty much done now. So that's where we're at right now. Hopefully in the next 2 weeks we'll have the actual the rolling chassis back here painted and ready to start going back together. In the meantime, I'm going to take all these parts and clean them, degrease everything, make everything look brand new. That way when it goes back in the car, everything looks fresh, new, like it was just built.
Yeah.
So sorry guys about not being able to do the GT3R kit. I'm as disappointed as you are, but there's no point in having a car that I can't drive and enjoy on the road. It's not worth it to me. Yeah. So we'll keep it, a nice build that's going to be really cool. That's not many out there, and we'll see you guys in a couple weeks.